Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Oh, that's better. Hey, thanks for watching our show, guys. We appreciate it. We hit a new high on Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook, 2732.
Boom, boom.
That's just great. Thanks for watching us locally in Bethel Park, only on Comcast 7. Got a lot of great reviews from neighbors and friends here. They're all on Comcast 7.
Well, that's good.
Well, then the other station, it's everywhere, including Bethel Park, Verizon 32. I'm hearing from all kind of different communities when I'm running around out in the neighborhoods.
They love it in Monroeville.
Still, we didn't wear out our welcome? Nice.
I got you.
All right, well, I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Spring is in the air, so the guys are a little more frisky than normal. The sandbox has been put away. We got boulders here for them to play with. We got Chip the Prophet Hayner, the Smoking Jim Frazier, and Zach Brenner. They're ready to kick some sand in a couple seconds there. And we're not actually watching the screen here, so whatever the camera looks like, Z, I start with what's on our mind. Zach, what's on your mind?
Well, Al Levine, the talking machine, I'm going to tell you folks at home what's on my mind. I have a whole bunch of things on my mind, but they try to limit me to one or two, so I'm going to stick to one. My esteemed colleague to my right, Smoking Jim Frazier, got me thinking a lot last night during his opening remarks on what's on his mind. And it kind of led me to believe that, I'm not kind of feeling the vibe over in Canton, Ohio after listening to some of that. It kind of just reminded me of some of the bad taste in my mouth that I have with the NFL Hall of Fame and everything that goes with it. But as I was driving through God's country earlier this afternoon, I was in a really nice part, and then it was called Murraysville. The Pirates are 1-0. The Pirates are 1-0. I'm in the sandbox.
I don't understand that joke. Could you guys... We're going to have to revisit that. I won't interrupt you anymore.
I'm in the sandbox.
I'm confused. Okay, now I understand.
The Pirates are 1-0. And that's what's on my mind, folks.
Zach Brenner, when you explain that to me, I'll understand what that Murraysville thing is. That went over my head.
That was cold, brother.
All right, Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine.
Thanks,
Hey,
buddy.
first of all, I want to start off by giving a shout out, congratulations to Bethel Park's hockey team, won the national championship. Love to spread the love here in Bethel Park.
Never been done before.
But what's on my
What, the love or the first time any team from Pennsylvania did that?
What you said.
Okay.
The first time Jim mentioned hockey.
And something about Bethel Park. So we got first tonight, folks.
All I can say is get the puck out of there.
Pun intended.
Well,
Taken.
what's on my mind is, and I'm going to piggyback off of Zach Brenner, Little Z. Yesterday I talked about some Steelers who should be in the Hall of Fame. Andy Russell, Kevin Green, Jerome Bettis, and L.C. Greenwood. But the person that's most deserving to be in the Hall of Fame, and I did not mention him yet last night at Sip Sports Bar, is strong safety Donnie Shell. Now, Troy Polamalu of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who plays strong safety, will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He has 32 career interceptions. Donnie Shell has 51, which is the most interceptions in NFL history for a strong safety. I don't think that record will ever be broken. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time Super Bowl champion. He was Steeler MVP in 1980. Played in 201 football games, which is second most in Steeler history, only behind Iron Mike Webster, who played in 220 career games. He was best known as one of the hardest hitting football players of all time. And a little unknown fact that most people don't know about Donnie Shell is he was a linebacker at a small black school in South Carolina called South Carolina State. And the guy that lined it up next to him at linebacker at tiny South Carolina State was Harry Carson, who is in the National Football League Hall of Fame. And that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. Very informative. And we'll revisit that because I believe Donnie Shell should be in there and
thanks.
should have been in years ago.
Thank you,
I've
sir.
always said that. So.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Chip the Prophet Hayner, what could be on your mind?
What could be on my mind? Yesterday I was kind of euphoric after being at the Pirate game yesterday, and then, watching the opening day ceremonies and the way the Pirates played yesterday. And it got me to thinking about the Pittsburgh Pirates and the game that was played yesterday. And it was funny because I was listening to other people talk about the game yesterday, and I realized that the thoughts that people were talking about, I felt the same way. I've sat through more Pirate games than I can count. And I've been through some very lean years, and I remember in 2010, that was one of the most painful seasons of my life. The Pirates were the worst team in baseball.
73 wins.
2010. No, that's right. They did 50-something.
56.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to be nice to you because you looked in shock.
No, but I was sitting there watching the game yesterday, and there was, in my mind's eye, it was a great game. Well pitched, good defense. Not a lot of offense, but, sitting there watching the game, there was never at any time did I ever get the feeling that the Pirates weren't going to win that game. It wasn't like, well, if they could just get a hit. It was, to me, when it was going to happen. Unfortunately, it happened in the bottom of the 10th inning. And, I know that there are people that just want to criticize the Pirates because they're just so used to doing it for 20-some years that it's just ingrained into them to do that. And if that's what you really want to do, then I'm saying, have at it, enjoy yourself. I have always wanted out of the Pittsburgh Pirates, I wanted them to field a competitive team. And the Pirates have gone ahead and done that. And, there's going to be changes made in the roster as we go through the season, as there is in every baseball season. And I know that the team that enters the playoffs this fall may not be the exact same team that lined up on the field yesterday. But I am just sitting back, and I am just going to enjoy watching good quality baseball because there's not a team in the major leagues right now that the Pirates can't beat 2 out of 3 in any given week. But that's what's on my mind.
Wow. That was a great one, Chip.
Thank
2
you,
out
Adam.
of 3. That's a 667 percentage.
Hey, you know what?
I like
that's
that.
all you have to do to win a series.
You do that all year. You set a record.
I'm telling you what.
That'll be a new win total.
We'll be hoisting a trophy down in
And you
October.
can still say, hoist the Jolly Roger.
And I do.
Okay.
As a
good.
matter of fact, I raised one yesterday when they were
Well,
walking
I don't
in
want to
the
hear what happened when you went home last night after Six Sports Bar.
Go
All
Barry
right?
Bonds.
Yeah, go right back where you came from.
You know what? We can revisit that since he opened up. He threw a little extra in there. All right,
What do you got there?
I got a sheet here. Miss Freddie Stover brought
Miss
in
Freddie.
flyers. This is the first time. Now, this is a big one. You might have to pull
You have
back
to pull
a little
back.
bit.
Zoom out. There you
Know
go.
more
All
about
right.
black people than anybody I know, Al.
Oh, thank you. I know your cousin. All right. Well, this is the 10th annual
comment.
Blues Society of Western PA Blues Challenge. Doors open at 12:30 p.m. Listen to the price of tickets. $12, Smoking Jim. That's all it is. It's Saturday on April 5th. 14 acts will compete, and it's just going to be an awesome thing. So check it out. Then here's another one, guys. George, you're in the hot seat. This will be a nice close-up here. Miss Freddie on the 25th at Sokol Club on Southside. How's that? Pull back a little bit. This is live TV, folks. I try to play director. Oh, man, that's perfect. Look, you got me peeking around. All right, thanks. This is the benefit to Camp Raising Spirits, sponsored by the Greater Pittsburgh Chapter of Oncology Nursing Society. And that's at 2912 East Carson Street. Admission $25 for a great cause. Miss Freddie is also a cancer survivor that we found out. So congratulations to her. She's one of the most powerful blues singers that I've met. And she's just awesome in performance. These guys will co-sign that also.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And I know I made a crazy prediction last night, and it's still on my mind because I drank the Pirate Kool-Aid. The Pirates will go undefeated at home. And that's what's on my mind.
All right.
Let's revisit.
Let's revisit right off the bat.
What
So
do you
how
want?
many games are they going to win on the road, and how many games are they going to win overall?
81 games at home. That's the only Kool-Aid I had.
That's your story, and you're
Well,
sticking
you know
to
what?
it?
I
Yeah.
saw people mentioning on the internet today that 162-0 is not out of the question. It's still on the table.
Until tomorrow. Anything could happen. We get a little rain, anything could happen.
Hey, but you know
again.
what, though? We're in a better position than the Chicago Cubs were, because I saw a post yesterday. It says
Yeah, we're one
opening
game
day,
ahead of them.
Opening day, and already the Chicago Cubs are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
That's cool.
They do have a genius,
cool.
though, in the front office, and you have to give it to Theo Epstein, though. I mean, he's one of the brightest minds in the game of baseball, and he's trying to do what he did in Boston and Chicago. And when he got to Chicago, the place was in ruins, so...
And it still is, and he has a little time to work.
Chicago's
It
in
vaguely reminds me
Yeah.
of something that we're witnessing
Chicago's
here
in
on our
ruins?
side, you know, for a few years
They
ago.
sell out every game.
Well,
No, not the Cubs.
But
Huntington didn't do
Cubs,
it overnight
take me out to
either,
the
though.
ballpark.
But you know what?
He died. Harry Carey's been dead
Harry
for
Carey's
years.
been gone
To
for a
speak
while.
to
Sorry,
Jim's
buddy.
point about Donnie Shell, and I am absolutely 100% in agreement with him. Donnie Shell should be in the Hall of Fame, and I think the reason that Johnny Shell isn't in the Hall of Fame is a product of the success of the Steelers of the 70s. I mean, if you think about it, you know, off that team, how many are in the Hall already? 10, 11, maybe 12?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like the sports writers and everybody's, we can't put everybody in.
Well, it was
You
a
know, and I
dynasty.
mean, they should, because Donnie Shell, you know, one of the most memorable things that I remember of Donnie Shell was the day that he knocked Earl Campbell out of a game, broke his ribs, and I mean, Earl Campbell was as rough of a running back as you have ever seen in the NFL. He was a rough boy, and Donnie Shell planted his shoulder pad right into his ribs, and Earl walked off the field and didn't come back. That was
But he
quite
didn't
a
play
day.
the rest of his career as a Hall of Famer until he wore out.
Well, and the reason why he wore out so quick, Joe Green and playing the
Yeah.
Steelers twice a year.
Point. Good
Well, they
point.
couldn't kick that door in. That was part of the problem. They tried to kick that door in. It didn't work out real well.
No.
And what was Zach talking about? I thought I had a point. What did you bring up?
He needs to get that.
Murraysville.
I want to revisit
yeah.
Murraysville.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
revisiting.
folks,
The Smoking Jim has
He's
assured
missing
me.
the punchline. He's missing
Yeah.
the punchline. So geographically speaking, Smoking Jim Frazier knows that Murraysville, to get to Murraysville, you have to go through Monroeville. And I've learned this today as I went past Gateway on my way. You know, but as I was driving
The
through, when I
rehab
got
center,
to the
or was
real,
this the high school?
the high school,
Oh, okay.
the school district, when I got to a really nice area in Port where I was going a bit on this job, when I looked, I was no longer in Monroeville. I was in Murraysville, and it was really nice.
But you
in
could,
Murraysville.
and I, Jack, if
It
you
is
ever
beautiful,
need directions
Murraysville.
around there, you could have skirted around the outside of Monroeville through Turtle Creek and then down
not hit
through
it.
Trafford and boom, right up into Murraysville.
And there you go.
It's always
And
nice
I kind
to
of
go
did
through
weave
the
through
road,
there, but I took Mosside Boulevard and came
Okay.
up through.
And
And if you
over
didn't
through
want to
there.
hear about sports and you like to hear about some of this stuff that goes on, that's why I needed to
real life.
revisit that.
Sure.
No fiction, all fact.
I don't know about that from Zach. But with the Pirates here, we'll talk about a little bit more about the Pirates later on.
Segment
Sure.
on that, I'm sure.
And I do appreciate that they are 1-0. I think Zach was saying that also.
Yeah.
I don't know if I heard that 4 times or 8 times.
Well, I was going like free at last, like 1-0, 1-0. You know?
And that's why Zach's growing in popularity on our show. Not only does he have the inside jokes, he has the ones that he can explain them pretty well. So, all right, that's enough for revisitation. We wore that out. Now we're going to go to Sip Sports Bar. And I have one more thing for you, George. Hold it, wait. Who's shooting this one?
I don't know.
It's John the
Double
Tiger
trouble.
Kiger.
Double trouble.
And Zach Brenner, you had a couple questions on this menu because
No,
it's $3 Sunday, and I
Brandy.
heard Brandy with the E after I.
Yeah, she straightened me out.
She straightened you right out
Yep.
because they have $3 Bloody Marys, jumbo shrimp and fries, calamari and fries, fried clams, which are your favorite, I heard, and fries because you're not a picky eater, and fish and fries. And get their whale of a cod fish on Friday. It's huge. And that's part of Sips. Monday night is Pittsburgh Sportsline at Sips Sports Bar. We're there. And Smoking Jim has some special. What's that special that you have there? At Sips?
Meatball.
Oh, okay. Because it's been 2 weeks ago since you had
Every
one.
2 weeks.
I know you didn't eat a meatball hoagie last night because it was a Reuben.
It was
Rachel.
actually a Rachel, which was delicious. How'd
Yes,
you
it
enjoy yours, Mr. Picky?
It was good.
Okay. He's broadening his food horizons
Is that
now.
what it was?
And Tuesday night, shout out to the Campides. 50 cents a slice. Campidi pizza with the nice weather.
I don't.
Go get your pizza.
In a
When-
bag.
Oh, always. Always. If you drop it, you can pick it right back up. No problem. Not a problem. It's very good, too. I recommend it highly.
Even off the ground.
Well, in the bag. And we also have Wednesday night, they have specials, they told us, half-price appetizers, drink specials, free parking. Thursday night is Smoking Jim and myself and the Gabrielle, the touchdown maker baker, where they're eating wings. I think they both had more wings than I did, but Smoking Jim said I might have set a record.
Yes,
25-cent wings.
I was going to say, I find that hard to believe.
25-cent
We
wings.
will not challenge the Fiend.
All right, Friday and Saturday, they got entertainment. This is enough entertainment. Let's go right to Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac, if you're ready.
Thanks,
It's
Al
that time
Levine, the
already?
talking machine. And I tell you what, my fiction and fact is going all the way back.
How far?
Saturday night. I tell you what, it was the night of champions at the Rivers Casino. And I tell you what, most people, my phone is still on. But most people don't
That was me
realize-
calling you. What about
Yeah,
Saturday
thanks.
night?
But most people don't realize is that National Football League's been around for nearly 100 years. And a team that is voted consistently as the greatest team of all time is the 1970 Steelers. And anytime you get, and most of these guys are in their 60s, some of them are in their 70s.
Pretty
and
good
anytime-
shape, though, Smoking Jim.
Pretty good shape, I would say. But, some of them are 6 feet under, a lot of them. So,
Yeah.
But anytime you can get them together, and I think it's an honor for a lot of these guys who came here to Pittsburgh and was drafted by Chuck Noll to make their life here in Pittsburgh because they weren't here.
Sure.
Mel Blount is from Louisiana, and Georgia is J.T. Thomas and those guys. But just to mention a couple of guys that was there was Mel Blount, Randy Grossman, Robin Cole, Louis Lips, Andy Russell, J.T. Thomas, Mike Wagner, Dwayne Woodruff, and of course Bill O'Neill. But the guy that I was most proud of, and I know he don't like to get the pat on the backs, but I tell you what, I've been in this business a long time, and I've never seen somebody who did not go to school for this particular position, did not grow up and desire to be in this position, to grab hold of it a couple of years ago and to ascend to the top of his profession. And I tell you what, I wouldn't trade anybody on the planet for the interview ability of Al Levine, the talking machine. You did an
I
excellent
didn't know
job.
who you were
brother.
talking about.
Nice job, Al.
Thanks, buddy.
Nice job.
I appreciate it. You didn't have to say all that, and I didn't give you more than $5.
I'm an honest man.
I know.
Hey, I was there too, folks. Whenever the video comes up, you're gonna see that I was there. Once I was able to get my clearance and enter the building.
Hey, George
I
got
was
my
there.
time before I could mention
I
you.
was there.
that.
I'm not even listed on the list.
Just came in.
He
Says
crashed it.
and
Crashed the party.
There's no brother.
Hey,
He had
bro-
one of those.
okay.
He had one of those
Honorable
chains.
mention.
He had one of his
Honorable
chains.
mention.
He had one of his chains with the hanger nade hanging down. Come on in, brother.
I hope we
I
can
had my
just.
Farouk hat on. I had my Farouk hat on. I walked around.
Well, I hope we. What about Devin Shea was there?
With his rifle.
Our
The rifle man was there.
You know what? I'm going to have a special segment explaining what happened there because you got Z time. You're running all over Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
It's over.
He didn't say it's over. When it's your segment, you say it's over unless I interrupt you.
Z time and CP time, one next to each other.
And you two had it both working. All right, let's go to my other favorite segment, or one of my favorite segments here now, since we got a Z in there. Chip's trivia time. What do you have, Chip?
Thank you, Alan. And, besides the opening of baseball season, there is something fairly important going on in the sports world this weekend. We've got the Final Four. And what a surprise this March Madness has been. And just share some trivia in regards to this year's Final Four that I found kind of interesting.
Can't wait, Chip.
Wichita State.
Out of more than 11 million entries in ESPN's Tournament Challenge, only 612 people picked the exact Final Four. That is 1 in 18,100 people, or almost the equivalent of one person at the sold-out console.
Wow.
That's it's pretty amazing. Out of 11 million entries.
That's why Warren Buffett took a gamble. Who says the guys that don't buy stocks don't gamble?
Okay, then next. Florida's 30-game winning streak could make history. And Florida is on a 30-game winning streak. The Gators are the first team to enter the Final Four with a winning streak of 30-plus games since Duke in 1999. Only 4 teams in history have done that. Duke in 1999, UNLV in 1990, Indiana State in 1979, and the University of Indiana in 1976, with Indiana being the lone squad to extend the streak and win a title.
Wow.
Great trivia there, Chip.
Yes.
Stumped us.
Okay. Kentucky became the first team in NCAA tournament history to eliminate both the defending champion, Louisville, and the runner-up, Michigan. The Wildcats also became the first team to ever defeat a 35-0 opponent, Wichita State. This is the first Final Four since 2006 in which no teams are making back-to-back appearances in the Final Four. Florida went out in the regional final of last year's tournament. Wisconsin was upset in the opening round by a number 12 seed. Neither Kentucky nor Connecticut played in last year's tournament at all. Having 2 Final Four teams that didn't play in a tournament the previous year might seem like it'd be rare, but the same thing happened just 3 years ago when Connecticut, again, and VCU made a Final Four appearance after missing out entirely in 2010. Since 1990, only 5 coaches have won the title in their first Final Four appearance. Jim Herrick of UCLA in 1995, Tubby Smith at Kentucky in 1998, Jim Calhoun at UConn in 1999, and Bill Self, the Kansas head coach. Over that same time, 32 coaches failed to win the championship in their Final Four debut. According to Elias, the last four Final Four rematches have all been won by the team that won the regular season meeting. That bodes well for Connecticut, which beat Florida December 2nd, and was the last team to beat Florida. It's kind of interesting, don't you think? Mm-hmm. And it's the third time in the 30-year history of the 64-team bracket that 2 number 7 seeds or higher made the Final Four. The others were in 2011 when Butler won number 8 and VCU a number 11. Mm-hmm. The only other time was in 2000. North Carolina was a number 8 and Wisconsin was a number 8. Mm. And I'm getting close to wrapping this up here. There's 2 more. Prior to this season, only 3 teams in history have ever defeated 3 top 4 seeds en route to the Final Four. LSU in 1986, Florida in 2000, and Butler in 2001. This year, both Kentucky and Connecticut did it. And this year's Michigan State team, who our illustrious president picked to win the tournament, they gained the dubious honor of being a first. Okay? This was the first senior class in Tom Izzo's 19 years at Michigan State that never made a Final Four.
Good point.
Wow.
Good point. Never knew that.
And, just on one final note, Florida, Kentucky, Wisconsin, and Connecticut making the Final Four. It's the first time since 2002 that all are singularly named after states.
And I think that Michigan State didn't make the Final Four because they didn't want the president to look good. another thing. Do you guys think that Kentucky has a chance to win the national
I do.
championship?
I absolutely do, and I'll tell you the reason why. You know, Kentucky is a team of nothing but freshmen.
They
Okay?
do got a big injury.
This
though.
is the first time since 1992 that a team of 5 freshmen has made it this far into the Final Four, and this team is gelling at the right time. I think a month ago they wouldn't have a chance of winning, but I think now that they've got the confidence that they very well could pull an upset.
Well, I love it that all you white guys love the basketball. Maybe we can get an NBA team here.
No.
But I believe this. If Kentucky wins the national championship,
Okay.
I think Kentucky should play one more game, a fundraiser, the week after with a rematch here with Robert Morris again.
Wow,
I
that's
don't think Robert
interesting.
Morris got the
Well,
money.
you know what? And you know, here's the thing. You know, John Calipari's taking advantage of the NCAA rules every year, and it seems like every year he starts a freshman team, and the next year they're the first 5 picks in the NBA.
Well, to me, it's like horses. Horses mature at a certain time. Like some are born closer to June. When you start racing as a 3-year-old, you're starting in May or April. You're not mature enough. These guys have matured. That's what I see. And they're actually, here's the key. When you start making shots, you win games.
Let me ask the 3 of you, just, you know, your opinion.
Well, let
off
me
the
just
top
say
of your
this.
bat.
Hold
Here,
that
hold
thought
it,
for me.
camera.
Yay! Hey, hold that thought. Here, it's almost like when Pete Carroll was at USC. Pete Carroll says, I like college football better than the NFL. He said, because in the NFL, I get to draft 1 first-round pick every year. He said, in college, I get to recruit 6 or 7 first-round picks every year. So you're
Great
right.
point.
Chip.
No, the best selections that money could buy.
Like I said, there's a big injury though at Kentucky to one of their big men, Cauley Stein, and he's not going to play this weekend.
Yeah, but
so
their
that
sixth
could-
man is a pretty good
the
guy that comes
question I was
in.
going to put to all you guys, and you know, we've got this system now in college basketball, and you have to play 1 year of college basketball before you can go into the NBA.
I
Do
love it.
you think that these young men should have to play longer in college before they go to the NBA?
Sure.
I actually think
Sure.
that they should play 3 years.
I think they
sure.
should, if they're homeschooled, they should be able to go right in the NBA.
That's
I
what
agree.
think.
I
That's
agree.
what I think.
Now, if
be
they
able to
don't
go right out of
homeschool
college.
and
I
they
think you
take,
should-
I
this
think
is-
2 years,
I think that's the most silliest rule that I've ever heard.
because they're
in my
supposed to
life.
get a degree.
Then I would love to see
Then
the
why do they
percentages.
get a scholarship?
The percentages of how many of them that are one and dones actually finish college and actually get their degree.
Well-
I bet you it's very abysmal.
Well, here's something even better. Zach Lil Z makes a good point. When Bob Huggins coached Cincinnati, and Bob Huggins was the one that cheap shot at B.B. Flannery that gave him a concussion when they were players.
And I
at West
interviewed
Virginia
B.B. Flannery
and
on
Duquesne.
Saturday night.
There you go.
Again.
But Bob Huggins, when he was at the University of Cincinnati, never graduated one player, and he had all 4-year players down there. That's a school I love.
Yeah, I think that's right up your alley.
Well, personally, I think I don't like the rule of being one and done. I think if they commit to a school and they're accepting a scholarship, that they should fulfill their commitment because
You're forcing them to by saying that you have to complete 1 year before you
Well,
can
here,
get to the
if
league.
we're gonna
Straight
play
from high
commissioner-
school.
Yes,
Oh,
straight
straight
from
from
high
high
school.
school.
In all leagues
Here's
across
how
the
I
board.
solve it. If we play commissioner, if you make the coaches go by their contract, then you make the players go by
Is
that.
there an age limit in
And I'm
baseball?
glad you brought that point up
Right.
because here's what the thing is. You
Coaches
know,
should stay.
we don't start teaching these young men early that they have to fulfill commitments that they make. So they don't fulfill commitments from the beginning. You know, you sign a contract; it's supposed to be
Well, you
binding.
know-
You're supposed to fulfill.
Well,
know,
no,
in
it's
soccer-
They'll start learning now that
You-
there's a union in
you
college
know in
football.
internet-
It'll take
International-
3 years because the guys like you don't want one there.
in
I want
soccer-
it.
I love union.
I
I'm a
want the
union
union.
man.
I didn't
I'm
know.
a union
Where's your
man.
card?
And they talk about me
My
in the
dad was a
sandbox.
steel worker.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Z.
In soccer, though, and I don't know what the age limit is in baseball, but I know that there's probably like Puerto Rican kids and Dominican kids that are 13 years old that are probably like signed somehow,
No, they're
some way.
18.
They're
They're 18.
arbitrarily binded somehow, some way. They might not be able to leave the field. I don't know, but I'm just saying that they should be able. You should be able to
Okay.
go to high school. And if you want to go to the league and you're good enough and you have the God's natural ability and the skill to go, then you should be able to go. You shouldn't be forced to have
Since
to go to
we're
college.
throwing ideas
I never went to
out,
college.
Here, I have a good
I agree
idea.
with you, Lil Z.
If you go to college for 1 year and take a scholarship, then you sign a $30 million contract, you should pay the school for the scholarship, what it cost over 4 years. So somebody like Smoking Jim Frazier can go back to school, get his degree.
Now, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So you signed the 4-year scholarship. You're one and done. Now, does that come off now, and does the school get that scholarship back, or are they on the hook for the 4 years that you signed on for?
We'll have
does
to
that get
investigate
relented?
that. I'm playing commissioner now.
No, but I think I think Alan did make a very salient point in the fact that, you know what, if you can't get the coaches to honor their commitment, contractual commitments, then how can you get the children to do it? And how can you get the athletes to do it? And it should start there. If a coach signs a contract, he should have to fulfill the terms of his contract. And if they want to opt out, then sign 1-year contracts.
Well, here's why I brought it up. The coaches pay to get out of their contracts because there's an opener clause and you pay.
Yeah,
so the players, that's why I come up with,
right.
if you have a scholarship.
The coach doesn't actually pay the money, though. They'll actually pay extra money
here's
in
my
the
point.
buyout.
Whoever hires him
correct.
does.
Here's my point. He's hired as a mercenary. The cost of doing business is $10 million a year plus $3 million to get him out of it.
Here's the problem. I'll give you an analogy all in a nutshell. Here's the problem, and I think Chip will agree. The problem is these young kids, like Chip says, they've been pampered all the way up, and they don't see the value of a college degree. And here's the reason why. Is because when you go on scholarship, I have a nephew that's a senior in college. I'm a senior in high school in Charlotte, North Carolina, and my brother did a horrible job raising his son because he's a straight A. Because he's a straight A student in engineering, and he's been accepted. He's been accepted.
MIT.
And he comes to my house every year. Good-looking kid. All he wants to do is study.
Too.
But he has gotten accepted to Virginia Tech University. And Virginia Tech University is $42,000 a year. So I'm going to send my brother $20, $30 a month to help out with that with the money. But $42,000 a year over 4 years, that's $200,000 to go to some of these schools. Yes. And some schools are more than that. And so if they see the value of that education, I think these kids will stick around and get that degree because there's some value in that scholarship.
And and this begs to the argument of, the players that seem to think that they need to be compensated for playing for the university, when I look at it as they already are being compensated.
Just a good point.
And the universities are making money off them, but
big money.
But they're getting an education that they can make a lot more money over the terms of their career if they get their degree than they'll ever make anywhere else.
But look how they fold under the pressure. When Lou Holtz, who's the greatest college coach, in my opinion, of all time, when Lou Holtz went to Notre Dame, they says at Notre Dame, the head football coach could not make more than the top tenured professor. So Lou Holtz never made more than $100,000 his whole time at Notre Dame. Now, in speaking engagements and all that, and the books he wrote, he made one. He made a lot of money. Is it still like
that today?
But I'm not sure if it's like that today or not. But these universities are paying these borderline coaches $4, $5, $6, $7 million a year to coach.
And then
how much money are they making?
Then you get stuff happening like what Mike Rice did over at Rutgers.
I like that. I like some more of that. I like to see some more of that.
You know what I mean? There's so much pressure on them that sometimes they just snap.
Well, Mike Rice was out of his mind.
He was like that before.
If you drink the water in New Kensington,
there was a football coach at Texas Tech that locked a kid in a closet and had a concussion.
Loved it. Loved stuff like that. I love hearing stories like
that.
Did
I start a hell of an argument, didn't I?
All right, let's go to a segment that we touched on lightly. We're dancing around NCAA. All right, who do you pick?
Well, for everybody at home keeping track, I'm the only one at this table that has Florida still in it to win it. So right now I'm the number one in the panel. In my poll.
I've got Florida in 2 other polls, and I'm
He's in 29 polls.
I never tell you what. There's 2 polls.
Got more sheets.
There's 2 polls that I picked Florida to win it, and every other one I picked a different winner. I figured I got to get right on one of them.
Wow.
It's like throwing spaghetti against the wall. Something's going to stick.
Hey, there's only 64 teams in the tournament.
Yeah,
somebody's got to win.
It's not bad. I'll go Kentucky.
You know what? I'd like to see Kentucky upset the world
Calipari.
and win it all. I'd like to see that happen.
Well, you know, Calipari's a Western Pennsylvania guy, so that's where I'm going.
I'm going Billy Donovan and the Florida Gators.
Whoa.
I like
you know
their
what?
style.
Ever since you went to Florida, you're a changed man.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
love
what your
Florida.
relatives did
I
to
love
you.
Florida.
They gave you a key to their house. You want to show that out to? Oh, you can't. You got to hit
Lynn
it.
Cookman gave me some good soul food. I love Florida.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna
He's not
revise my
staying
pick.
here.
These two got Kentucky. You've got Florida. I'm gonna go off the reservation here. How about UConn? Well, that way we'll just
Whoa.
satisfy
They
them all.
playing in Arizona National Championship. Oh, you said off the reservation. You saying UConn?
Yeah.
Well, UConn. They don't have their coach anymore, right? This is
No,
Calhoun?
Calhoun's gone. They
Yep.
have,
Yeah.
he's been gone for 2 years.
What happened?
He
It was sanctions.
you know,
He was sick.
He had cancer.
he was getting ready to get sanctioned, and he just bailed out. He said it was for reasons of his health, and now that that whatever investigation was going on has kind of ceased. I heard that he's thinking about getting back into coaching.
A miracle's happened.
Wow.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
do you guys think that the here's a good question.
All
Do
right.
you on your sheet, Al? You got some good notes there. Is there a card there for the women's NCAA? Because
I
I
am
hear
glad
that
you
Notre
brought that.
Dame is undefeated.
Well, so is
That's
University
why
of
we have
Connecticut.
you here.
really?
Yes, and what could happen is Notre Dame and Connecticut have both made it to the Final Four. They're in separate tiers. They win their next game, we will have two undefeated basketball teams vying for the women's NCAA basketball championship. I'll watch that game.
Well, I tell you, the highlight
Nice.
of my journalistic career came one year when I don't know if you guys remember back when the University of Pittsburgh had a black female basketball coach. Can't remember her name, but she was pretty good there for a while.
Was
Before
she good looking too,
Before she,
Smoky
oh yeah, she
Okay.
was good looking before she got fired.
He's the best scout.
But they're playing Notre Dame, and I
Okay.
covered the game. And you talk about the longest locker room interviews of all time, brother. I loved it.
Hold it.
The
Man,
janitor was sweeping out before I was done.
Aren't you known as Batman? You leave every place early with the ladies' locker room.
I tell you what, some of those girls are in great shape.
How do you know?
I'm in the locker room doing interviews, brother.
I want to see that video.
Rubbernecking.
Where's that video?
But I tell you what, man. I tell you what. I got a lot of respect for women's basketball, and no one talks about it.
No, and you know what? They should, because I'll tell you what, it's an exciting game to watch. A lot different than watching the men, because you don't have a lot of people slam dunking. And it's a lot more about ball movement and shooting ability than it is about
I thought it was there was just
acrobatics.
Tennessee and UConn,
no, that
and then
changed.
Baylor was on the rise.
That
There's-
changed,
then
yeah.
There's like 5 teams
Notre
in the
Dame.
Now
league.
there's 6.
No, Notre Dame and
There's 6 now.
do you know Auriyama?
Yeah.
He's
UConn.
I'm sure he's going to retire as the most successful women's
Well,
basketball
Pat
he's
coach.
Summit
gonna
still
leave that
in?
job.
He's not going to leave that job, but he's still taking second
Is
place
Pat
to Pat
Summit
Summit.
still coaching down there in
no,
Tennessee?
She was diagnosed, I believe, with Alzheimer's, and she had to step down. But she's won
She hung in
over.
there as long as she could.
Hey, speaking
She
of
won over
battling cancer,
1,100 games.
Jim Kelly is fighting strong, folks. Jim
That's
Kelly,
my man.
Clarion's own Jim Kelly, lost 4 Super Bowls,
talked
but he's
about
still
him
fighting
2 weeks
strong.
ago.
Who's
I know,
on?
but he just
Who's on?
he's from Clarion, Pennsylvania, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
No, he's from East Brady.
East Brady.
East Brady.
Come there, Clary.
All right, close enough.
He wouldn't say that, but we'll pray for him anyhow.
Toughest. one of
Well,
the
he just
toughest
put out a
football
little
players
post,
I've seen.
thanking everybody for
he
the
was.
prayers.
They used to say about Jim Kelly that he was a quarterback with a linebacker's mentality.
Well, that's what he would have been if he went to Penn State. Jim Kelly is the youngest of all his brothers, and I'm sure you guys heard my Jim
What
Kelly
story is that?
before. But I won't say this. But Jim Kelly,
Well, you need a fiction and fact.
Jim Kelly grew up wanting to go to Penn State, and all his older brothers were quarterbacks at East Brady. But when they got to college, and I mean, Jim Kelly had a neck like this in high school, and when they got to college, they were switched over to linebackers. Well, Jim Kelly was going to sign with Penn State, and for the first time, Joe Paterno was honest to one of his recruits, because Paterno say, "Hey, I'll give you an opportunity to play quarterback in your second day on campus." He's like, "Go with the linebackers," and he told Jim Kelly, he says, "Hey, if you come here, you're going to be a linebacker. You're no quarterback. So Jim Kelly went to University of Miami, who at that time probably couldn't beat Miami of Ohio. They were one of the worst teams in all of college football. And the only reason he went to Miami because he knew he had work ethic and he could throw in the sun each and every day. So he developed himself into a first-round draft choice and turned Miami's program around. He's the one. They had to name that stadium Jim Kelly Stadium because he turned it around for them.
Was that under Howard Schnellenberger?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go. Some fiction and fact in addition to the normal
A
fiction and
bonus,
fact.
folks, a bonus. See what I bring up?
Hey, did we get the Z time yet? We
I
missed
thought
that.
we had that earlier.
Okay, we did. I'm just saying because you've been jumping on the bit over there. What's all that information you're pulling out of your phone? Hey, how about Pirates now? You got any information on Pirates, Zach?
They're 1-0.
What
They
did
have
you
a
say?
winning record.
I didn't
right
hear
now.
you.
They're 1-0.
Okay, because I thought I heard it a few other times.
1-0.
It's a great day in Pittsburgh. Great weather. We got a game tomorrow coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Who's pitching tomorrow, Chip?
Tomorrow, Charlie Morton will be on the mound tomorrow, and Wandy Rodriguez on Thursday. And Friday night, Garrett Cole will start the series out against the St. Louis Cardinals. And,
Hey, I hear you're going Saturday night, and I know there's fireworks.
Frankie Liriano will be starting again on Saturday night. I'm really looking forward to that. Liriano pitched real well yesterday.
I know May 22nd we'll be down there and it'll be all you can eat, brother, because I'm going to eat from
Pittsburgh
the time I get
Sportsline night
there.
over at PNC Park.
Yeah, first time the whole crew's going to venture out there on
Yeah.
a Thursday night. Look
Yes,
out.
sir. Yes, sir. It'll be a good night.
Anytime we're together is a good night.
Who are we playing that night?
Washington Nationals. Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg. Yeah.
It'll be a good night.
What section so we can tell people to come
Section
on by?
125.
You can see these guys outside the sandbox.
And Harper never went to college, right? He went straight from high school
Yeah.
to the pros.
Correct.
18 years old.
Is that how it is in baseball? You don't have to go to college.
Yeah,
do
well,
They
you
can
can
sign you
get
in high
signed.
school.
You can get
They
signed to considerations and then still finish your college degree. Whenever you come out of college, you go into whichever team signed you into their minor league system. That's what Pedro Alvarez did.
See that? That's
Pedro
where he
went to
learned to tuck
college?
the ears.
Pedro went to
He
college?
got his degree.
Pedro got a degree?
And it's not general studies.
Shucks.
All right, we're moving right
El
along
Toro.
here. How about some Penguin talk here?
The Gwens.
Okay.
The Gwens
They're
are
playing right
won.
now.
They're on now. We didn't get a
They-
score from Devin. Devin Shea's
Car-
usually on there. We got Chris Satter in the control room. We got George on the camera making me look very good like I have a tan tonight. John the Tiger Kiger's there.
But the Penguins are playing Carolina Hurricanes and Jordan Stahl tonight and his brother. Last night the Hurricanes lost in a shootout. So they're a team that's playing for their lives. Right now they're not in the playoff picture. They've got 75 points. And I believe Detroit might be one of the they're either the 7th or 8th seed. I believe they got 82 or 83 points. So they're playing for their lives. But I think right now what the Penguins really need to do, and after tonight's game, the Penguins have 7 games left. And, I've been a little bit critical of them of late because since the Olympic break, they have been nothing better than a mediocre team. And we talked about this last night for a minute. Yes, there has been an incredible number of injuries and everything. But one of the things that I've seen and I'm not happy about with the way the Penguins are playing, it just doesn't seem like they've been, the last 2 games they've been okay, but they don't seem like to be playing with a lot of passion. They playing with absolutely no sense of urgency, and I think back to the year when we won the Stanley Cup, and Mike Therrien was a real disciplinarian, and the team hated him, and they got rid of him, and the Penguins had to play their last 20 games of the season like it was their last game, so that they could make the playoffs that year. And you want your team peaking going into the playoffs, but the Penguins have been kind of sleepwalking for the last 5 or 6 weeks. And it's just got me concerned as to, are they going to be able to flip the switch and turn it on and play, because...
I think the switch gets turned when you have the healthy star players back and the players that you have injured. If you can get Letang back from the heart attack.
Well, if you remember last season, we had the star players and they were healthy and they didn't produce and they didn't live up to the hype.
They had a power shortage.
Yeah. Well, if you don't score goals, you can't win.
What they did was they ran into a better defensive hockey team, and then they ran into a goaltender they couldn't put the puck past, Tuukka Rask. And I'm telling you right now, the Boston Bruins in the East, look unbeatable at this point.
Well, I'm glad they look that way
That's
now.
what I was thinking too.
I want our man on the inside, smoking Jim.
Right.
Did you see that hockey game the other night with Boston?
But
glad you did.
He doesn't
thinking
even know
about
where he's at
thinking
right
about
now.
teams that have injuries. The Chicago Blackhawks last year, they're the defending Stanley Cup champions, and they've won 2 championships in the last 4 years. Okay, now their top 2 stars, which are 2 players that I could say were pretty much equivalent to Sid Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, is Patrick Kane and Taves.
That's cool.
Taves
Maybe
got knocked
Malkin.
out of the game Sunday night by Brooks Orpik. Brooks Orpik flattened him with Patrick Kane. Right now, their top 2 stars are banged up, and if they get them healthy, Chicago would have to be the odds-on favorite coming out of the West. But I want to tell you something: you want to keep your eyes on the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis Blues made the trade of the season when they snatched Ryan Miller off of the Buffalo Sabres. And you watch what the Blues are doing. They're probably going to win the President's Cup, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Stanley
And they have
Cup
that
playoffs.
smothering defense there.
Yep.
I don't know if there's anybody on this planet that's better than Sidney Crosby. So I'll never give another team props and say that their star player is better than Sid the Kid. Sid the Kid is one of the
I thought he
most
said the
amazing
equivalent of that.
hockey players in the world.
And Zach, I'm not discounting that
From a
fact.
skill point.
But
like,
here's
some of the plays-
one of the things that,
Let's go Pens.
as much as I love Sid Crosby, I think back to some of the great players in hockey. Okay, I think about Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky would take control of a game and he would win the game single-handedly. Mario Lemieux would single-handedly take charge of the Penguins and will that team to a win. And I just, Sid is great. He plays well, but he just doesn't put the team on his back and carry him the way I would.
How about Yager?
I think he's put the
What about
organization.
Yager when he take over?
He's the face of the franchise. He's put the organization on his back. We have a Stanley Cup with Sid the Kid Crosby.
But
so
you know what? But that was a long time ago.
Well,
Yeah,
when
it
was the
a
last
long
time the Pirates won a World Series? It was a long time ago.
1979.
So what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Because there's always like this thing where it was a long time ago. 7 years isn't even that long.
No, but Crosby
20 years is long.
For as great a hockey player as Sid Crosby is, he should have won more Stanley Cups, and he's had teams around him to be able to do that, and the team hasn't done it. I want to see him step up and take more charge. I haven't seen that of him. Maybe I'm being too critical. Maybe I expect too much out of him, but he's the best player in the world, and my expectations are high.
Let's go Pens.
I think he's producing
Stanley
just
Cup
fine
this
right
year.
now. As long as they
Stanley
produce
Cup
and
or
show up.
bust.
Nothing
in the
would make me
playoffs.
happier. Nothing would make me
Me too.
happier.
Oh, go ahead.
Not to change the subject, but the one thing I think we need to talk about a little bit is lightning rod soccer.
I mean, it's on my list. I'm
Is it
sure
on
I
your
was waiting for the commissioner to give
In
me
our closing
permission.
remarks, we were going to
I
get
didn't know
to
my-
You know
what
the
we got going
segments,
on.
sir.
I didn't mean to
They're
jump.
segments,
Yeah,
sir.
I didn't mean
You know
to
what?
jump.
Break
Spoke
the
out of
segments.
time.
We're down to 10
Yeah, I
minutes.
didn't mean to
Spoke
jump.
out of
We
time.
went too crazy
No
there.
holds barred, no.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
All right, go ahead.
Well, let's talk
Both of
lightning
you.
rod soccer. April 18th, God's Country, Monroeville Convention Center. Rod Soccer is fighting the main event on Showtime for Iron Mike Promotions. Rod Soccer is a good personal friend of mine, a BC sponsored fighter, a huge fan of Pittsburgh Sportsline. I can't thank Rod Soccer enough for all that he's done for me in the city of Pittsburgh and for my business. And I wouldn't even be at this desk if it wasn't for Lightning Rod Soccer. So I got a lot of love for Team Soccer, that's for sure. And Sammy Vasquez is going to be fighting the opening fight on that court out there in Monroeville. So
Yeah.
I wish everybody to call me, call Brenner Contracting. We'll
Hold
get
it.
you
What's
tickets.
that number here? George, last chance.
412-583-5047. That's 412-583-5047.
Call now.
And it's going to be a good
Get
fight.
your tickets. How much
It's
for a
more-
ticket? What's the prices?
I'm sure the bottomest ticket right now is $40, general admission.
There
and
you
it goes
go.
up from there.
In
So
God's country.
if you want to sit ringside where I'll be sitting, you're probably going to pay $2. And Jim Frazier knows what $2 means.
Is that what heavy money is?
I guess you could call that heavy money. It
don't
depends
know.
on what kind of bills you use.
Well, no, it was great having Rod on last night. Great interview. Matter of fact, you can watch that on Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook right now.
Right
It's
now.
posted.
He had the whole
Smoking
place
Jim,
in
it's even on
sketches.
your Facebook page
Yay!
and everybody else's.
Yeah, he had us all in stitches. He was quite the one-man stand-up act last night.
He's a class individual, even if he's 30-something now. You know,
He's
I
30
got
years
that at
old.
the beginning.
And I
Old
tell you
man.
what, Rod,
man.
soon to be a world champion.
We know he has the heart of it.
Yeah,
We got robbed in
definitely.
Texas, and I hate to keep. I'm not. You know, me and him have already gone over this. We're not going to keep crying about what happened in Texas, but we got robbed in Texas. We should have won in Texas. We should be way farther ahead in the game right now than where we are. But we're ready for April 18th. I can tell you that much. And lightning's going to strike Monroeville on April 18th. So come on out, folks.
Nice.
There you go. You heard that. What else? We got another boxing thing going on, Smoking Jim.
Yeah, Friday night. I tell you what, we got the Golden Gloves boxing championships in here in Pittsburgh at the Priory Hotel. I'm on the north side in Presley Avenue, and I tell you what, I'm going to be with my main man Al Levine, the Talking Machine, and we're bringing in a co-host from Ohio. The Midwest Princess is coming in, Alicia Sparks, to help us out with all the interviews.
Nice.
And so it should be great. I think the headline fight is a kid from Monroeville, John Doyle, heavyweight, is fighting Mike Manna. I like both guys. And I tell you what, Mike Manna, the Bull, has been really coming on. Friend of the show, one of my favorite fighters. But John Doyle is from Monroeville, Gateway High School. And,
We know where your allegiance is
so
going.
if I had to take a pick, I'd have to say that
Mike Manna.
Doyle was a favorite in that match. But it's going to be worth the price of admission, that's for sure. So
we'll
come
have
on
a
out,
great
check
night
it out.
there. There's no
come
doubt.
on out.
Where
get your
will
swerve on.
the other half of the gang will be in Bethel Park?
We're so disappointed because the Police
I'm
Athletic
super bummed.
League plays the Steelers. Smoking Jim and I somehow got lost in our scheduling.
No, I'm not happy.
I know. We enjoy that. We had a great time last year in Bethel Park. A lot of
Made
people
my debut.
told us about it. It was great. We may turn Zach Brenner loose there. Oh, by the way, Devin Shea told me 1-1. Penguins. First period. And there's 3 periods, Zach.
And they beat the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
So
For
I feel confident
basketball,
about that.
Make sure you go to Bethel Park High School. I think there's like 7 seniors this year, and they always try to take care of the seniors, so make sure you stop out, pack the house there. We wish we could be there. I don't know if Smoking Jim leaves the fights early. Maybe he'll be here to close out the game.
I got it.
Just saying here.
But he has a habit of leaving before the main event.
Wait a
You
minute.
ain't right.
Wait a minute. Alicia Sparks is going to be there. Jim ain't going
I ain't
nowhere.
going nowhere.
Hey, but you know what?
Riding in their
As of
Jaguar.
right now-
We're going to be riding in their Jaguar.
As of right now, they don't
Is
have.
that
They don't
after
have
you
no.
wash it?
They don't. You don't have no camera. You don't have no camera right now. I got
we
the
have
camera.
a camera.
Oh, you
We
have a
already-
camera.
I got
You
it
just don't
already.
have. You don't know how to
You
use
give
it.
it
Guess
You
what? I'll
need an
press
operator.
the turn on the button.
I
Set
just
up-
got a yes from Aaron Ward. She will be in the house, so 2 beauties will
Oh,
be
man.
there. Aaron and Alicia.
Well,
So
Devin
we got-
Shea, man, we're doing
we
it.
got
We're doing
it.
it on Bethel Park TV for basketball.
There's Dave Cable in the middle of this. He'll just split the teams up, and first time ever. Pittsburgh Sportsline 1 and 2. So it'll be a good night out
Who's
there.
1 and who's 2? So I know who to root for.
We're 1.
Root for 2.
That was easy.
Chip,
Zach.
come on out to basketball.
There you go. We'll see what people are doing. Come out to the boxing. It should be great boxing. There's no
There's
doubt
not
about
enough
that.
microphones to go around at the boxing.
Oh, we got an extra one.
That's too much.
We can share a mic once in a while. You've seen that, Zach. You've also done that with us. So.
I've seen it. It's a lot funner though when you have the microphone the whole time.
I don't know about that. It's hard with Smoking Jim.
Go up to Cal U and watch my video.
Ah, forget about it. We've never seen that. You're like some events that I've been at with Smoking Jim in the past. They're still not posted anywhere. I want to see that. Just like being at the Rivers, that'll be up shortly. Dave Cable's working on editing
All
that.
those episodes are in cyberspace. You just got to
No,
reach
no,
out
they're
and
not
grab them.
because
You reach out and grab them.
they never made it out of the. They're still knocking on it.
Well, you guys know that our ratings are on YouTube views. So anytime you two gentlemen want to go and rewatch the show on YouTube, that's what Dave Cable bases our ratings on. So you need to go on YouTube and click on the Sportsline and rewatch our shows,
I
even
watch
if you
them
just.
all. Even when I'm not on, I go back. And
I watch them like twice just to boosted up to like 3.
Well, I have a little Spanish guy named Jorge that his job is all he does is watch Pittsburgh Sportsline all day, every day.
Yeah, but here's the problem. He just watches it for the 1 hour, and he's laughing so much he doesn't hit the button anymore. Tell him to do that every hour.
You better watch it.
Well, we're getting close to winding down. You want to bring anything up about Steelers? You thinking Steelers at all, or you're too distracted?
Well, I mean, we have an NFL scout on the panel, so
Where?
I always defer to my esteemed colleague to my right.
You know, to be honest with you, with the Steelers right now, there's like, you know, they're making a move here, they're making a move there. You know what? Wait till after the draft, then we can start worrying about what kind of team the Steelers
Hold it, he
have.
contacted Pittsburgh Sportsline to like his page. If you
Who,
check it
LeGarrette
out-
Blount?
Yeah, because I liked something he said, and welcome here. He reached out to Pittsburgh Sportsline to like his page. He's now up to 16 likes.
But so we have two solid running backs on the roster, and we're bringing in running backs to the south side. To me, it doesn't make any
Well, they
sense.
only got
Well,
one.
exactly. You
'Cause
know,
they got rid of Dwyer.
They got Bell, they got Blunt.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
B&B.
So
I
we
thought
got
you meant-
two legitimate running
Yeah,
backs
right.
on the roster, and
Right.
we're bringing in running backs.
Why not? Are you serious? This is the
Good
NFL.
point.
We were 2 running backs to go through a 16-game season.
No,
Oh,
but
you lost your mind?
for the last how many seasons though, before we got Bell and Mendenhall, we were using Bubba Sparks to play
Bubba
running
Sparks?
back.
Who's
We had a guy
Bubba
from
Sparks?
Bowie State for Pete's sakes. You know what I mean? We had bums, we had Scribinis, we had cast-offs
But we
playing
still
running
had
back.
4 or 5 of them.
Well, hey, now we have 2 legitimate running
Yeah.
backs established now.
You know what?
Just
I
stay
think
healthy.
Just stay healthy.
Yeah,
that's
we're
all.
gonna need more.
We
You know,
need
we're
more
gonna-
than 2.
We need
we have
wide
bigger
receivers.
concerns right
We
now
need running
than
backs.
running back right this very
And we
second.
need linebackers.
We have no wide
and a
receivers.
defensive lineman, and we might need a punter, maybe a long snapper.
That's a long list, Chip. We only have 9 picks. We only have 9 picks in the draft.
Oh, geez, we got a lot of work to do.
We got a lot of holes. Are we rebuilding Levine?
We're rebuilding.
Okay.
And at least you acknowledge it. I've
Yeah.
been saying it for 2 years. I think it finally sunk in.
No,
Because I see all the little pieces being put out there because they're backup
Yeah.
players. That's what they're getting.
Now they're
Votes.
they're bringing in special teams players is what they're doing.
Well, what Al Levine's been seeing is he's been seeing the retirement of the Bill Cowher players, which equals rebuilding.
8-8. Eric, you guys are big investors in gambling. This is called reverting back to the mean. Bill Cowher, 8-8. Mike Tomlin, 8-8.
I'm wrong. Donnie Shell ain't the most deserving. Bill Cowher's the most deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. Put the chin in.
Put the chin in. Kyle Pie.
I
That
don't
was my idol.
know. You were
That was
young.
my idol.
You were young and immature at the time. I understand that. We're closing this showdown. What's your last 10 seconds or so?
My last
Marty
10 seconds,
Schottenheimer will
I
make it
wanna-
before
I wanna-
Bill.
I want to say hi and thank my mother, Lois Brenner. We couldn't do what we do at Brenner Contracting without my mother. She's a great woman. Couldn't thank her enough. PelgerLaw.com for always keeping me free and jammed clean. And FaceyBros.com. It's a great website. I want to wish a happy birthday to
What about
one of
Brenner
the founders.
Contracting? We only got
Angie.
30 seconds to say anything, brother. Smoking Jim.
Well, Lil Z took my 10 seconds. Go ahead, Chip.
Hey,
All right. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching us on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Verizon 32 everywhere. Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park. Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook. Beautiful day out there. Go enjoy the last little bit of sunshine for tonight. Keep watching us. Come out to sports at Pittsburgh Sportsline at SIP Sports Park. Check it out. Come on out there.